What you're witnessing isn't a camera trick. This is actual footage of someone who just celebrated their 88th birthday, climbing 3 flights of stairs without stopping. No handrail. No pausing. No struggling. How is this possible when 65% of people over 80 can't climb even 1 flight without stopping? When millions rely on mobility aids just to move around their own homes? What if everything you've been told about aging and mobility is wrong? What if stair climbing at 88 isn't miraculous, but should be normal? 5 years ago, this same person could barely manage 4 steps without gasping for breath. Today, they move like someone decades younger. Could a simple morning ritual reverse years of mobility decline? The answer has shocked medical professionals and might change everything you thought you knew about aging. Before revealing this breakthrough protocol, you need to understand what's actually happening in your aging body, because it's not what most health professionals admit. Why do 61% of seniors struggle with stairs by age 80? Why do 47% need help standing from a chair? And why do doctors simply shrug and say it's normal aging? What if the real culprit isn't age at all? What if it's something completely fixable? Inside your brain are specialized neurons that coordinate every movement. Think of them as the body's electrical wiring. When you're young, these connections are strong. But as you age, something unexpected happens. These pathways don't necessarily degrade, they disconnect. It's like a television with loose cables. The TV works perfectly, but the signal isn't getting through. Have you noticed your stiffest first thing in the morning? There's a shocking reason for this. During sleep, these neural pathways partially reset. In a young person, reconnection happens instantly. But in someone over 60, this process becomes increasingly inefficient. The revolutionary discovery shaking medical science is that these pathways can be deliberately reactivated, essentially rebooting your body's mobility system in just 12 minutes each morning. 5 years ago, something happened that changed everything for our 88-year-old stair climber. Imagine watching your granddaughter get married, but you can't climb the 27 stairs to the reception venue. Imagine practicing for weeks only to need 9 rest stops, clutching the railing desperately, humiliated as others watch your struggle. What happened next led to a discovery that's transforming how science understands mobility after 60. At a prestigious research institute, scientists were asking a question no one had properly investigated. Why do some people in their 80s and 90s maintain exceptional mobility while others decline rapidly? The answer wasn't what anyone expected. The difference? Their morning routine. Researchers identified a critical 30-minute window after waking when the brain is actively re-establishing neural connections throughout the body. In most seniors, this process happens randomly, neglecting movement pathways. But what if you could control this process? What if you could tell your brain exactly which movement pathways to prioritize? That's exactly what the 12-minute neural mobility sequence does. When performed within this critical window, mobility metrics improved by an average of 43% in just 8 weeks. Now, let's examine the precise morning sequence that's causing medical professionals to rethink everything about aging and mobility. Still in bed, could specific breathing patterns literally wake up dormant neural pathways? The answer is yes, and it starts with diaphragmatic breathing. Take 3 deep breaths, expanding your lower rib cage while keeping shoulders relaxed. Then systematically contract and release muscle groups in this exact order: toes, feet, calves, thighs, core, fingers, hands, arms, shoulders, neck. But does the order really matter? Research shows it does dramatically. This precise sequence mirrors your developmental movement patterns, the way you first learned to move as a child. Did you know your inner ear contains tiny crystals that determine your balance? As you age, these systems deteriorate, dramatically increasing fall risk. But there's a way to recalibrate them each morning. Seated on your bed's edge, slowly rotate your head clockwise 3 times, then counterclockwise 3 times. Tilt toward each shoulder, holding for 3 seconds. Look up, then down, holding each position. Finally, focus on a distant object, then shift to something close, alternating 5 times. What makes this sequence so powerful? It simultaneously recalibrates all 3 balance mechanisms: visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive, something no medication can do. The third component addresses something shocking about joint stiffness. It's primarily neurological, not physical. Standing with support nearby if needed, perform this exact sequence. Ankle circles, 5 each direction each foot. Knee bends, 10 shallow bends. Hip rotations, 5 each direction each hip. Spine, gentle forward, backward, and side bends. Shoulder circles, 5 each direction. Elbow flexion/extension, 10 repetitions. Wrist circles, 5 each direction. Fingers spread and close, 10 repetitions. What makes this different from regular stretching? It's not about flexibility, it's about neurological reconnection. The precise sequence matters more than the range of motion. Did you know your brain has two halves that need to communicate for balance and coordination? As you age, this connection weakens dramatically. But there's a way to strengthen it each morning. These crossbody movements are the key. Opposite elbow to knee touches, 10 repetitions. Crossbody arm swings, 10 repetitions. Figure 8 hand patterns, 5 in each direction. Marching in place with opposite hand to knee, 20 steps. These movements aren't just exercise, they're neurological reprogramming, strengthening the corpus callosum, the critical bridge between brain halves that deteriorates with age. The final component is what transforms these neural connections into practical movement patterns you use every day. Demonstration of functional movements. Perform these with deliberate focus. Sit to stand, 5 repetitions without using hands. Simulated stair step-ups, 10 for each leg. Reaching overhead, then to the floor, 5 repetitions. Weight shifts in all directions, 10 repetitions. Why does this final component matter so much? It bridges the gap between isolated movements and real-world mobility, instructing your brain which movement patterns to prioritize throughout the day. What happens when someone follows this protocol consistently? Within 3 weeks, getting up from chairs without using armrests. By 2 months, carrying groceries without stopping to rest. In controlled studies, at 4 months, seniors following this protocol showed stairs without holding railings equivalent to people 15 to 20 years younger. But how is this possible? The answer lies in 3 revolutionary neurological principles. First, neurological prioritization. Did you know your brain maintains thousands of movement patterns but can't keep them all equally active as you age? It actually chooses which ones to preserve based on what you use most frequently. By activating these pathways each morning, you're telling your brain, these movements are essential, keep these connections strong. Second, proprioceptive recalibration. Ever notice seniors shuffling when walking or reaching inaccurately for objects? This isn't weakness. Their brain literally doesn't know where their limbs are in space. The morning protocol systematically resets this internal positioning system, like recalibrating your body's GPS. Third, vestibular restoration. Inside your inner ear are tiny structures controlling balance. These deteriorate dramatically with age, but can be stimulated to maintain functionality. Multiple research studies confirm these principles work. A study in the Journal of Neurophysiology found seniors performing similar protocols improved mobility test scores by an average of 37% in just 12 weeks. Even more shocking, a 3-year study showed participants not only maintained improvements but continued gaining function into the 2nd and 3rd years. Age didn't matter. Similar percentage improvements occurred in both 90-year-olds with significant limitations and 75-year-olds who were already active. How can you implement this protocol for maximum results? Follow this 4-week integration plan. Focus only on components 1 and 2, neural activation and balance system reset. Even these alone will begin shifting your morning mobility. Incorporate component 3, joint reactivation. Focus on precise sequencing rather than range of motion. Add component 4, neural integration. Start with slow movements, prioritizing accuracy over speed. Finally, add component 5, functional activation. Pay special attention to how these movements connect to daily activities. The protocol works most effectively when performed within 30 minutes of waking, before consuming caffeine, in the same location daily, following the exact sequence. The protocol can be adapted for specific situations. For arthritis, reduce ranges to pain-free zones. The neural benefits occur even with smaller movements. For heart conditions, extend to 15 to 20 minutes with brief rest periods between components. For stroke recovery, begin with the unaffected side, then mirror movements on the affected side. How will you know it's working? Track these simple tests. Count seconds needed for 5 sit-to-stands without using hands. Time how long you can stand on each leg. Count stairs climbed without stopping or using handrails. Let's address what everyone wants to know about this protocol. Absolutely not. Traditional exercise builds strength and endurance. This protocol targets neural pathways controlling coordination, balance, and positioning. It's about reconnection, not conditioning. Most notice subtle improvements within 7 to 10 days, particularly in morning stiffness and standing from chairs. Significant improvements typically emerge around 3 to 4 weeks. The most dramatic changes usually occur between weeks 8 to 12. Many report reduced joint pain within 2 to 3 weeks. This happens because improved movement patterns reduce joint stress and inflammation. However, the protocol isn't designed primarily for pain management. Always consult your doctor, but modified versions have been successfully used in recovery. The protocol can be performed seated or even lying down while maintaining neurological benefits. The improvements last as long as you maintain the practice. Neural pathways require consistent activation, especially with advancing age. Miss a few days and you'll notice minimal regression. Miss weeks and you'll need to rebuild these connections. What if decline isn't inevitable? What if what we call normal aging is actually just neural disconnection that we've never been taught to prevent? The morning mobility protocol represents a fundamental shift in understanding aging. It challenges everything we've accepted about decline and offers a practical approach to maintaining independence. 5 years ago, the person you saw at the beginning couldn't climb stairs without multiple stops. Today, at 88, they climb 3 flights and can still hold a conversation at the top. This isn't superhuman, it's what human function should be at any age. The capacity for mobility restoration exists within each of us. It simply needs to be activated systematically each morning during that critical neural reset window. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, you face a choice. Accept stiffness and limitation as inevitable, or begin retraining your neural pathways with a proven protocol that could transform your mobility for years to come. Imagine climbing stairs without fear. Imagine playing actively with grandchildren. Imagine maintaining your independence regardless of your numerical age. Watch our next video where we reveal the 3 foods that accelerate neural reconnection and supercharge your morning mobility protocol.